Note, this is episode 4 of the Fire Emblem Revelations Rewrite series. If you have not watched parts 1, 2, or 3 yet, pause this and watch it with a little info card in the top right. I appreciate your time and I want to pay it back with giving a comprehensive experience. Now, let's get to the show. At the start of Chapter 18, Azora and Corrin lead the group to the bottomless canyon. After Azora prompts the group that they all need to jump in, a great majority of the group started freaking out, especially the likes of Sakura, Elise, and Mozu. After a couple lines of this, Ryoma speaks up and goes, "I have to admit, this is scary. But Azora clearly knows something. I know my sister. She wouldn't lead us to mass suicide. I must ask, what should we expect?" Azora responds, "The monsters, the corruption. We've all seen it so far, no matter where we come from. That torment will only amplify as we fall down that rabbit hole. I can only imagine how things have changed since I last visited. But this is the heart of the situation. If we wish to stop the chaos, we must go down there." Azora starts seeming hesitant as she is gaining an inkling of what might happen to her, so Corrin steps up to the plate. "Look, Silas has been down there, as has Takumi, and all three of us are standing before you today. You will not die jumping into that hole. We need your confidence." After a bit more debate between a few groups, they decide to both believe Corrin and Azora that everything will be fine. Corrin and Azora look at each other and, with a quick nod, jump down into the hole together. The mountain dragons refuse to go down into the hole, leaving Camilla, Elise, Leo, Xander, Hinoka, Silas, Reina, Perry, Scarlet, and Baruka no choice but to leave their mounts on land, simply being unmounted and losing 50% of their defense in Vala. Once a group plummets down the hole and fuss into Vala, Azora tells the group about the letter her mother Arette wrote her and shared with Xander last chapter. In this letter, Arette details that Aninkos was a loving and caring man in her time, but his lust for power eventually overcame him. He started taking over neighboring countries with only Hoshido and Nor standing before his downfall. Aninkos' sorcerers were especially subject to his wrath, and eventually helped Aninkos transform into a dragon to spare their lives. After becoming a dragon and not having the Dragonstone help support him, Aninkos spiraled out of control, leaving a great majority of the citizens of Vala no choice but to flee. While almost everyone died in this escape plan, two of the survivors were Makoto and Arette. Makoto being Aninkos' lover, and Arette being the wife of the king Aninkos killed to gain control of Vala. They both escaped with Azora and Corrin, and her information stops there outside of noting that Aninkos was always weak to the charms of bravery and music. And that might be the key to taking him down. With Azora clearly shaking, a horde of monsters of all creeds come in. While most of the monsters are Death Goyles, Wheelie, Cyclops, and Archmogols, there are 2 Draco Zombies and 3 Stone Golem, marking the Golem's first appearance in this story. The goal of this map is simply to kill all the enemies, with both Draco Zombies being the bosses. With a bit of difficulty, the group is able to eventually clear through the map. With everyone panting heavily, a figure that Azora recognizes as Arette walks up to the group and offers them somewhere to stay for the night. Weary and lacking better judgment, the group agrees, only to the delight of Arette, marked with a sinister smile. Moving into Chapter 19, the screen is pitch black at first, with only wind chimes sounding. After a moment, Azora wakes up and tries to speak, but feels completely muffled. Corrin wakes up next and barely notices the gag around her mouth. Prompting her to be quiet, Corrin removes the gag and starts waking everyone else up. "Damn, just when I was dusting off my books," Arette said from a nearby chair. Azora goes to speak again, but figures out she's unable to. "What's wrong, sweetie? Cat got your tongue?" Arette coyly answers. "Look, I didn't want to see you again, truly. I didn't want to see any of your friends. Aninkos is my only love left of his life. And yet you're all here for what I can assume is an assassination attempt. Pathetic. Looks like my friends and I will just have to kill you. May as well wake him up." Arette then leaves the room, with Saizo wondering if he can stab her in the back. Ryoma talks him down from it for Azora's sake, but notes the group needs to get ready for battle. Now. The map is a mix of an escape and fog of war map, as the goal is to escape, but the area is completely dark. There will be an chapter-exclusive torch mechanic available for staff users or tome users carrying fire, lighting up the nearby vicinity by 10 spaces on top of what the player can already see, and will diminish by 2 spaces every turn. The enemy consists of endless copies of Arete, King Sumeragi, Makoto, Izana, and King Garen, albeit with weak enough stats so that the team can handle them. On this map though, there are 5 bosses, one of each character, killing the boss copy of Arete with Azora, boss copy of King Sumeragi with Ryoma, boss copy of Makoto with Korn, boss copy of Izana with Takumi, and boss copy of King Garen with Xander will trigger short but special conversations. Arete will tell Azora that she is thankful that she was the one who released her spirits, and notes to make sure to use her gift effectively. Sumeragi tells Ryoma that he's proud of his son for everything he accomplished, but he cannot afford to slack off now and prompts him to keep fighting. Makoto praises Korn for reunifying efforts and for honoring her death properly, pleading for Korn to continue doing what they think is right. Izana will be blunt with Takumi in saying that despite despising his attitude, he's proud of the man he's become and hopes he can continue being a fair diplomatic figure in the future. Garen will apologize for the awkward upbringing of Xander, and will admit that after Xander turned 7, King Garen stopped being himself due to giving in to Anankos. He is proud of everything Xander has accomplished, but reminds Xander that sometimes doing what's right is more important than winning for your side. Once the chapter is cleared, the group is very clearly emotionally and physically exhausted, but knows they can't all afford to sleep at once. With Hinoka freaking out from fear and thus freaking everyone else out, Azora looks around her location and finds a map detailing where they are and where the castle is, quote, in case the heart was ever lost. With the location known, the group travels closer to the castle and sleeps in shifts, preparing for the biggest battle of their lives. In Chapter 20, the group makes their way to Gygus, the central castle of Vala, to take down Anankos once and for all. Before they can actually walk into the castle, Lilith appears to the surprise of everyone from the Norian royal family, Azora, and Korn. She warns the group that Anankos has gone completely out of control since she left so many years ago, recounting back then that Anankos, her father, almost killed her and doubts he would have any issues doing it this time. Azora and Korn hold strong though, noting that they need to take Anankos down now if they wish to see tomorrow. Lilith reluctantly agrees, hoping to support them to the end. This reunion is cut awkwardly short though when Kadros pops up from behind, ramming into Lilith with a lance and killing her instantly. Well, wasn't that fun? Kadros says in a mocking manner. So, we have a whole crew here. Well, this should be exciting. You want to remove what's left of Anankos? Destabilize a world you don't even know? You're gonna have to get through me first, or my name isn't Kadros. You're the first? Yes, Azora, the first king of Vala and your blood relative. Don't expect me to go easy on you, though. Azora nods and spins her lance in front of her before holding it in a defensive position, shouting, "Then let's go!" In order to clear the map, you simply need to kill Kadros among a horde of Valite soldiers. These soldiers are all promoted in level 18, meaning you'll need to be on your guard when taking on all these enemies. When the chapter ends, Kadros simply vanishes and a cackling is heard. So, you're the group trying to kill me. I will admit, I am pretty impressed you killed Kadros. Ah well, just a copy whipped up especially just for you. Azora responds, "Wait, you did what?" Anankos repeats himself, saying, "Oh, just recreated a body. I took a bunch of souls, plopped them in a blender, and hit frappe. It's not that hard, really. My friend Hades filled me in on a recipe. Ah well. I lowered my final obstacles here, so I believe it's time to wipe you all out." Come on, let's play. The castle the group is in begins to fall apart. Unfortunately, everyone rushes outside of the castle just in time. This is when the original final cutscene in Revelations plays, music and all. This cutscene leads directly into the endgame. In the endgame, the endgame plays quite similarly to the original, except with a few differences. First off, you'll notice that I didn't bring in a, quote, Korn died and then got brought back to life, end quote, moment, because frankly, that whole moment is anime bullshit, and this is Fire Emblem, not Soul Eater or Madoka Magica. That's because Korn dies. For real. And Azora, and Ryoma, and Nah, I'm just playing. What actually happens is the +4 boost given to the weapons for all the royals, besides Korn's weapon, because Vigato is something Nankos can't deal with, is removed. But as for Korn, he starts off with 1 HP health, which, mind you, is easily fixable, but that's still a scary situation to start off in. On top of that, every 3 turns, copies of 1 random character in your roster that you did not bring to the fight will spawn over 8 times, all carrying the same weapons and having the same levels and whatnot. Now, if you have a bunch of weak allies, that's great and it only becomes a minor inconvenience. However, because this map only has 10 spots, and all 10 are mandated to be the 10 royals, while most of the maps ask for anywhere between 12 to 16 units, you could very well be going up against 8 Silas or 8 Effie if luck is not in your favor. The same 4-stage process of fighting in Nankos applies, except with HPs shifted a little bit. The arms will have 50 HP, the head will have 70 HP, and the eye will have 80 HP. And after that, Nankos will appear in his human form. A bit of a 5th stage, if you will. This form will have a total 120 HP, and will be a sorcerer, carrying a Snake Spirit, Mjolnir, Dragon Spirit, Calamity Gate, and, curiously enough, Foron. Once you defeat this final form, Nankos will be sealed away, presumably not waking up for quite some time. Once everyone celebrates and what was originally the final cutscene plays, Chapter 20X will begin. In Chapter 20X, which is set 3 years after the endgame, you simply have to walk around as Korn and talk to all the couples. For example, if you talk to Ryoma and he married Kagero, you will talk about Shiro. If any of the parents are unmarried, they will be matched up with anyone they can S support with priority going to who they have the most support points with. For example, let's say Xander is unmarried and the remaining females are the Korn sexuals, Mozu, and Charlotte. Support points would then determine a wife for Xander between Mozu and Charlotte, since those are 2 females he can S support with. Once you talk to all the couples, a new cutscene will play where Korn is simply writing into a book, talking about the events of their adventure and their goals for the future, as well as hopes for their newly born child Kana. After finishing their writing, Korn closes the book, shares a kiss with who they married, and stares at the sunset sky, ready for a new day. Everyone's ending story then plays, followed by the credits. When the credits are almost 75% over, a claw will slash into the credits and rip them away entirely, leading directly into Chapter 21. You guys probably thought that Hades reference was a little bit random too. Nope, I like to give my references some nice, hearty context and meaning. And with that, part 4 of the Fire Emblem Revelations rewrite, as well as Arc 1, is now finished. What did you guys think of the story? Did you guys think it was a good twist of fate at the end? Did you think it was interesting? Let me know down in the comments below. I would be more than happy to hear any feedback, because we are headed into a very unique, I want to say, unique telling. Just something that hasn't been told within this Fire Emblem game specifically. I'm really looking forward to it. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, go ahead and check out any of the links down in the description. Make sure to give it a like and a sub if you haven't subbed yet. And yeah, if you have any donations you also want to do this month, sign up for Patreon. That's all on you guys too. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, this is Joeypals signing out. See ya!